I feel that it's really important that it's recognised that being diagnosed is a really defining moment. It can be incredibly empowering and it can also be incredibly stigmatising. For me, it was a positive thing as it allowed me to take ownership of my experiences, and secondly to identify as having a medical condition. I was not a weirdo having strange experiences. I was suffering with an illness, and this helped me to validate my experiences and to understand them. So when I was first seeing early intervention services, I had an incredible care coordinator called Sarah Benbrick, who was just an amazing woman. You know, I could really tell that she cared about me and she saw me as a whole, and she would remember things that I told her and bring them up in our next appointments without me having to prompt. It was like she actually really listened. And very quickly in one of our meetings, she got out these cards and placed them on the table and said, I just want you to pick a few of these cards that you feel relate to your symptoms. So I looked at them and they were things like feeling like a part of your body has changed shape, receiving messages from television or radio, thinking that people are not who they really say they are. And I looked at these and was like, yeah, whatever. What are these symptoms of? You've read my notes, haven't you? You've read my files. And she said, no, Jasmine, these are just symptoms of bipolar. And for me, that was a revolutionary, a revelatory moment, because I'd never, ever thought that these could be things that other people had experienced, but they had. And that was incredibly comforting for me. It's really important as well for me to use this metaphor that I've come up with, and it's the umbrella analogy. Just bear with me. So basically, my diagnosis is helpful for me, but only when it's seen as an umbrella term. No two people's symptoms or experiences are the same within the spectrum of bipolar, and I see my diagnosis as an umbrella in other ways too. Sometimes my umbrella is very visible, it's neon pink and covered with sequins, in the same way that sometimes my symptoms present themselves outwardly, and it's inescapable that my behaviour is abnormal. However, I don't want this to define me. It's part of me, but it's not all of me. Sometimes I don't want to talk about the umbrella I'm holding over my head. It's there, I can see it, but it's not for you to comment on. Other times the umbrella is folded up in my bag, and no one who didn't know me personally would ever think I lived with this severe and enduring mental illness. And at these times, it's important for care provisions to still be in place, as I still need support, and otherwise I very quickly slip through the net. Just because today I've washed, paid my bills and gone to work for a bit does not mean tomorrow will be the same. I was discharged from services in October last year, and my mental health spiralled out of control very quickly. I was deemed too well for a care coordinator because I had a really good relationship with my therapist and not so with my care coordinator. So I was using my therapist kind of as both, but this meant that the services deemed I didn't need support from community mental health team, and it's left many areas of my life in complete crisis, namely my finances and personal relationships. This is also one of the reasons I'm unfortunately not able to be with you today, because I don't have the support in place that I need to survive, and my mental health has spiralled to the point whereby I couldn't travel to London. Now, I'd just like to make a final point, still with the umbrellas, so stick with me, that we all have umbrellas. Everyone is on the spectrum somewhere. It's a sliding scale, not a fixed point. Mental health isn't something that some people have and others don't. It's not black and white like that, and we all have the capacity, everyone, to become unwell mentally. Finally, my umbrella is protective. It helps me cope and understand my behaviour and be kind to myself.